It's been a long 20 plus years. Started off in high school with my friends and I building computers and having LAN parties. So kind of got interested in it during high school and decided that I wanted to join the military and continue doing computers. So I joined the Air Force and right out of high school. I decided to pick from two career fields, and one of them was either networking or systems administration. I didn't know it at the time, unfortunately, because their descriptions are horrible, but it worked out though. So I ended up becoming a systems administrator in the Air Force. Did that for 5 years, and then I got out and decided to join the commercial space. Uh, so I joined and started working for a radiology company as their systems administrator for about a year. And then at that time, I transitioned to a new company and decided to also re-enlist back in the Air Force Reserves. So then I did that, and then for a few years, I did a bunch of different roles and different jobs. But mainly, that was the Air Force Reserves that kind of built up my cybersecurity interest. And plus, I like to look at the market and see where the jobs and the need is. I really noticed a big need in cybersecurity. So in my role in the Air Force Reserves, I did a lot more cybersecurity stuff. We got our Security Plus, and we did a lot more, scans and compliances and baselines, and worried about seams and threat actors and stuff in our internal networks. So I started doing more and more of that, and I really liked it. And so I decided I wanted to continue my branching down that road and hopefully working up to more of a non-technical role in the future. So a couple of years ago, I decided to or actually a little over a year and a half ago, I decided to kind of solidify my knowledge in cybersecurity and started going further in the certification world. So that's kind of where I've been journeying lately in that. So even in my current company, I do a lot more cybersecurity stuff, kind of as I work for an MSP. So I do a lot more kind of like a CIO as a service type stuff, where I'll help small companies with their policies and procedures, help them with compliance audits and reports. I'll do everything from vulnerability scans to, investigate, breaches on their networks and stuff. So I do a little bit of everything, but I try to focus more on the bigger picture stuff now for clients. So, like I said, I got the Security Plus, which is more of just a foundational knowledge in just security in general. But, from working in the Air Force, we were concerned about, the bad guys attacking us, obviously, and defending our networks. And I realized that to be a good defender, you also had to understand how to be a good attacker. And when I did my research on what would be a good training and certification in that, CEH was at the top of my list, as far as, this will give me a good knowledge on some, tactics, techniques, procedures, and tools that hackers would use to infiltrate our networks. Some of it obviously in the training is very, generic and older, but that's not the point though. The point of the training is to give you that breadth of knowledge to understand the mind of the hacker. And that's what I really liked about the CEH certification and course. Yeah, that's a hard one. It's definitely a benefit in my career. Like I said, without that knowledge of the mind of a hacker, by getting that, it really helped me to kind of understand what I needed to focus on to further my career. What aspects I liked and what I wanted to do. Like, did I want to continue down the CEH route and go to, get the CEH master? Did I want to continue on and get more of some more pen testing certs or or stuff like that? I realized that it wasn't necessarily the route I wanted to go down, but it really helped me to understand myself and get that breadth of knowledge. Like I said, I've always treated my career as you have to know a little bit about everything to be good at the job you do. So then you focus on what you're really good at, and CH is one of those things that I couldn't really be good at what I do without learning the hacking aspect of it. So as far as how does it help my career, because like I said, it helped me to kind of focus my knowledge and decided that I wanted to go down more of the the executive branch and the like the policies and procedures. So I knew that I could take that knowledge of here's how hackers operate. I could use that to help secure clients and stuff. So I ended up like I said, I work for an MSP right now, and we deal with a lot of clients. So having that CEH helps me to guide my clients in saying, hey, your networks are vulnerable to these types of things. And I can show them that, yeah, I understand what I'm talking about. I've got my CH. This helps me prove to my clients that I understand what a hacker does and how they operate, and it really lends credit to me as a professional, I think. In my organization, MSPs are a little bit different. And it's definitely good to have some titles and things in there that show that your people on your staff know what they're doing. And I think my boss understands that. So he sees the CEH and he understands that it's a good cert that we can show to our customers and our clients that, hey, we have the chops to help you out and be more secure. In the industry though, definitely in the industry, it's, there's a lot of, if I wanted to be an analyst and look at, either or work into pen testing, for example, CEH is one of those foundational certifications that everybody wants you to have to get there. It's kind of your gateway cert. You can't get anywhere further really without having something like the CEH on your check boxes, for your resume. It's really, really necessary, I think, as far as the industry treats it. I think it really did. I've always said there's three parts to your career. You've got your education, your experience, and your certifications. Your education is when you don't have any work experience or certifications. This kind of helps you qualify you to, hiring companies, to the recruiters on why we should hire you. But then once you get into your career, you've got experience, which is great. But then how do you qualify your experience? And that's where the certifications come in. And for me, the CEH was one of those qualifiers that helped me to take that and pass it and show that I've got that knowledge, and the CEH qualifies my knowledge. And then based off of that, there's lots of studies out there that show people that have the CEH, this is how much they're making in certain jobs. So then that makes it easy for me to go to my boss and say, look, I've got a CEH, I've also got these other certs, and this is what I'm doing in my job, and this is what I could be making if I went somewhere else, because this is what the market's paying me. And so it really made it an easy way to justify my pay raise because I had the CEH. And even my job title, description, based on what I do, I could justify a title change, that this is really what I'm doing, so my title should really be this. So it definitely helped a lot, I think. And for as impact, I think it really made me more aware of, I knew a bunch, at least I thought I knew a bunch about, hacking and, defense, but I knew a lot more about defense than I really knew about hacking, and the CH really opened my eyes to a lot more of those, like I said, tactics and techniques and procedures and the different tools that hackers will use to compromise your networks. I knew about Kali Linux, but it was fun to actually get in there and use Kali Linux and see the tools in there. Doing steganography and seeing how it's used, and and it's really, I don't know, it made a good impact on me, I think, as far as that goes, to see all those tools and stuff and what hackers are doing out there to breach your networks. I don't think I've made any real community contributions per se. I am a member of a Discord server called Certification Station that it's a bunch of like-minded individuals that want to go on there and learn more about how to take different certifications. And I've used my knowledge from CEH to help guide other students along the path of, getting certified and, to understand hacking and stuff. I've used it, I guess you could say, giving back to community, unless you count my coworkers at my office. I train them and help guide them on how to be better technicians and more security minded. So that's probably the most I've got as far as giving back to community at this moment. Hopefully this video will count towards giving back to community and sharing my story, that other people will see this and get inspired to pursue the certification, or at least the field in general. For me, it had to be the labs. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. I mean, there's different modalities of learning, and I do best with hands-on stuff. So having that ability to get to the lab work and do the reinforcement of the labs and testing the tools and playing with them and seeing exactly what the instructors are talking about in the class and in the source material is really just, I loved it. It was my favorite part of it. I always look forward to taking a lab and going through it and saying, wow, that was really cool. I liked that. I was able to get it done, and I actually reinforces that I actually understood the material. So that was my favorite part, hands down. Like I said, I love that part. Yeah, I mean, I do attribute success to EC Council and with the CEH. I mean, they put forth a quality certification that really helps people to get into the world of hacking, or at least pen testing or counter hacking or whatever you want to do. Without this kind of certification, I think we would be woefully underprepared to defend ourselves against what's out there in the world. As far as a message to EC Council, I think the test format and the class is great. I think that the challenge in the test maybe could be a little bit better. I've had some other certification tests that are a lot more challenging, in that it's not just knowing the material, but you have to understand the material. So I think making the test a little more on the line of, you got to show how you understand it, but maybe that's what the master's for. The master certification might be what your guys are going for on that having the student go and demonstrate in the master certification that they understand the material is there. So, but otherwise, kudos to them. I think this is a great certification, and the need is definitely there, and I'm glad you guys have it.